Okay, so we're back in RoboFont, and we are going to explore different options of bringing in some stuff from outside of RoboFont into RoboFont, and it's extremely common for um, if you're just starting a design, or if this is your first design in RoboFont or any font making software in general, to bring in things from Adobe Illustrator or to bring in an image for a reference. So we're going to do that now. So starting off with Adobe Illustrator, say we have our really neat A that we drew here. This is actually marker felt. And we'll just do what's natural. I copy it from Illustrator, bring it into the A glyph in RoboFont, and hold on, that's not what I want. Super tiny, and because of the way that fonts work and the way the RoboFont works is that all those uh, units got rounded to the grid and really messed up our design. And so we can't even like scale it up really, because this is just a mess of nodes, and RoboFont's even having a little bit of trouble. There's so many nodes, it's just a mess. Um, so what I recommend doing is just drawing a box using the same method that we did before. We're just making a basic box, and we're going to bring it on down to the origin 0 point, and we're just going to make it the width of the glyph and the height of the X height, or you can do the cap height, what have you. We have that box, we go back to Illustrator, we zoom out a little bit, and pasting this box, you can see that we need to scale up our drawing in RoboFont. Scale up our drawing in Illustrator before copying it to RoboFont. So we take that glyph, we scale it up to the size of this box, since it's supposed to represent the baseline at the bottom and the X height at the top. So now we can copy this glyph. I copy the whole thing, the box and the glyph, go back to RoboFont, delete that box right now, and then paste it. And you can see that when pasting from Illustrator to RoboFont, it puts the lowest most node at the baseline there. So select it all and then drag this box that you have back to the origin, and then delete the box, and now you have a glyph of an appropriate size here in RoboFont. So save that glorious glyph that we now have. And so that's how you get it in from Illustrator. If we wanted to bring in an E from an image, I have this I found this image on the Letterform archive, online archive. Maybe I want to take this E. So I downloaded the image, and I don't really need this whole image here because this is a little bit too big and has a bunch of stuff in it that I don't need. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of it, Command Shift 4, and then holding down the Control button, I'm just going to get the part of the image that I want. It's important, even though I just want this E, I want to get the context of it. You'll see why in just a minute. So I copy that to the clipboard, and I'm going to paste it. And so this isn't quite the right size that we want, and so I could press the T for the transform tool and kind of scale it up and mess around with it. But the easier way is to select it, right click on it or command click on it, and click the set scale option. And here it's going to allow you to click and add a couple of parameters so you can scale this drawing to the scale that you want it to do. So we need to find a flat part and define the baseline first. So I'm going to click at the very corner of this R to add the 0, 0 point. And I'm holding Shift. I'm going to click at the very corner of the T here to make the baseline. And then I'm going to click and hold Shift and click again to add the X height, making sure that this is completely vertical. If I don't hold Shift and this is skewed a little bit, it's going to skew the image. So I'm holding Shift, selecting the X height. I can also, if I wanted to, instead select the cap height, but really what I want to do is the X height. So we're setting the X height here and we hit scale. So that zooms our glyph into the size, you can see, of the X height and baseline, and things are mostly sitting in the right spot. We can nudge it with our arrow key, move the E into position, but with all this color and stuff, it's hard to see what's going on. So after I do that, what I like to do is click color and drag this alpha all the way down to like 15. So then we can see the box of the glyph and we can see the drawing a little bit. You can make it however light or dark you want. You can increase the sharpness of it if you want. But really all that needs to be done now is I like to position the glyph. I'm going to move the E a little bit more into the body and then right click and lock the image. So now I'm not in danger of moving that image around as I'm trying to trace it. So then now, just like any the image, the glyph before, I can try to draw it best I can. Usually, like, what I like to do, as I said, when I'm drawing it, is put the points where I think the extremes are going to be, and then fill in the curves later. So this we're going to make sure all these are smooth points by double clicking on them. And then really, you know, the tracing is up to your interpretation and how to get the right shape out of that image is up to you. It's not a science, it's an art. One thing that might be helpful is if you wind up making a shape where there's nothing at extremes and you kind of want to add something in at this flat point that at the very extreme and you don't quite know where it is, you can always right click or command click and you can say add extreme points, and that will add points on your contour to put them at the very extremes of the curve. And sometimes you might get a double. You can just delete it. Things that you don't need, just delete them. And it's a little hard to see what's going on with this other thing of color, but you know, it is what it is. So we're going to add this extra point, this extra, fill in those curves. And, that's almost there. Why not? Sometimes you don't need that extreme point. Sometimes it kind of gets in the way. Sometimes you might want to add it later after you've gotten that shape down, but it's looking pretty okay. Maybe we round this off to make it sort of a more pleasing shape there. Anyway, that's how you bring in an image from a reference material. So save that, and then when you're done with this image, maybe if I'm going on to the S, I can unlock it, cut it, jump to the S, paste it, move it, then lock it again. And then when I'm done with it, I can right click, unlock the image, and then just delete it. And that's how you do it.